Cloud9 is now 5-0. Team Liquid's going to want to match them for first place in the standings. And Team Liquid's schedule is going to get a lot harder after this week, so they want to come in here. They do want to stomp DSG if they're going to be considered contenders and go home with a quick 2-0.
Yeah, absolutely. That is going to be the expectation, I think, from the TL fans. Of course, we have seen our top teams, drop some games here or there. We just saw C9 drop a game against Dignitas. And now, Dignitas, they are the team in dead last. They have actually taken the game off of all of our top teams. They beat TL one game, they beat LYON one game, and they beat C9 one game. They still haven't won a single series yet.
And they were swept by Shopify.
Yep. They've lost all their other series 2-0, but every time they play a top team, they win one game. They get one blue shell a week, only active against the top teams.
That's so frustrating for them, where they're winning in all the ways that mean nothing. And losing in all the ways that are measured.
Yeah.
That's just so unlucky.
But you can be like, oh, but we had some good ones, though. And you still have 0 wins, unfortunately. DSG, though, did start off the season, obviously, a bit better. They took down Sentinels. People are thinking, hey, they were picking up right where they left off. But since then, they have not yet been able to get a series win.
Yeah, and we're on a new patch. Series 1 had a couple of new items show up. It was mainly about Deathfire, Touch, and Storm Raider Surge, seeing a lot of play in the mid lane. We did see one copy of Gluttonous Greaves. We haven't seen any big uses of Static Shiv or the new Cyclo Sword, which can apply the on-hits on ability usage. I know over in the LEC, Knock Play a Cyclo Sword Rush Aatrox and was able to win with it, but I'm hoping we see something. When we do see Ashe Seraphine locked in, though, I feel like we're due for a meta draft.
Yeah, that's kind of part of the problem, is that everyone's just playing the same style of champs, and a lot of the new champs, a lot of the new items aren't built on the most meta pro champs, right?
Yeah.
So unless people go outside of the meta, I think you're not going to see a lot of it. Where I think we could see a lot of Shiv, to me, was champions like Senna, that is just already strong with Shiv, and now Shiv kind of got even better for her. So we did see occasional uses of Senna around the world, but not much. And obviously Dusk and Dawn gets built some. We saw that in the Varus game. That has been changed a bit. So there are a lot of changes. Likely to see Deathfire Touch here on the Rumble. So definitely going to see some.
And I think something to point out here with what Team Liquid has been doing, more so in Spring Split, where they're undefeated in matches, is they're going to blind pick or just pick a tank for Morgan in more cases than they were back in Lock-In. I think in Lock-In, Team Liquid was really obsessed with dominating early game and blowing the game up in 20 minutes. So if they made a misstep in the mid game, they'd end up losing. But now I feel like they're picking a lot more scaling in their team comps, usually through primarily Morgan's pick. And then since they still have exceptional laning, they're still winning early games, but now they have a lead with a scaling advantage, which has worked out so much better.
Yeah, it definitely has. I mean, it's been interesting, right? Because people talk a lot about him as such a strong laner, but he has been getting put on tanks quite a lot. Really known for his Renekton, but, not going towards that sort of pick as much as he kind of has been in the past. But of course, first 3 picks, incredible scaling there for TL. I will say, when you're going to give up the Ashe Seraphine, you generally want to have tools to be able to attack it. And I do think they have some good ones with the Pantheon as well as the Rise. You can get down towards the bot lane. But there is the ability to actually throw out protection bans. And TL is also worried about potential mages bot because they're actually banning out the Mel, which is quite popular into both Ashe and Seraphine. Great things that you can actually reflect back with that W. And mages are terrorizing solo queue right now in bot lane. If you look at the highest win rates in bot lane, it is almost exclusively mages for the first 12 or 15 even picks.
It really is. So if a team is willing to give you Ashe Seraphine the way that it happened here, where Team Liquid is actually first pick, so they decoupled the Seraphine Ashe in draft order, and then DSG didn't disrupt that combo, you're thinking, okay, they're probably confident with something against it. Oftentimes that would be, from what we've seen, a Nautilus draft, which has had very mixed success. It's very feast or famine. So I understand the Mel potential headshot ban, because it looks like we're just going to see a Corki Nami headshot, or not, handshake at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. And Corki Nami has not been doing well in our league at all into Ashe Seraphine. In general, I didn't actually check the stats this week, but last week when I had checked in, it was something globally in top leagues, like an 87% win rate for Ashe Seraphine against Corki Nami, which is not very good for the Corki Nami. Of course, it could be Lucian Nami. That could maybe throw a little bit of a wrench in the gears, but still, it is very, very difficult to lane into this duo. It scales incredibly well. It can be really abusive in the 2v2. And really, you're just looking to try to gank it, but regardless of what AD carry you pair with Nami, Nami doesn't have the greatest gank assist, so it's not going to be the easiest setup.
Absolutely not. A little AD heavy for Team Liquid right here, but they're going to have a very strong front line. Sejuani, Yone, so they have double melee solo lanes to go with the Sejuani and a lot of backline damage, but most of their magic damage is going to come through a little bit of half and half Yone, a little bit of random Ornn damage in there, and Seraphine. So I think they'll get by since DSG doesn't have necessarily a true tank,
yeah,
but it's a pretty solid-looking team comp for Team Liquid.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, we're just waiting on the AD carry last. You can say, oh, they're going to get Zhonya's value, or they could build steel caps or whatever, which is true. But generally speaking, there's not going to be anyone to really stack armor, so they're not going to be too concerned. Pantheon stacking armor is not going to be very powerful. You need to build AD, and obviously Rumble cannot go tanky really either. So I do think TL have drafted very effectively. This is about as standard as you get over on the TL side.
I mean, it's almost identical to their Game 1 draft last week against Sentinels when they won in 23 minutes. The only difference from this week to last week is the jungle pick, which was Pantheon and is now Sejuani, because DSG took the Pantheon instead.
Yep. I mean, they're going standard. They are going super, super standard. And the Sejuani can be really effective. You do have that double melee solo lanes. For TL, it does feel like Jose, you're expecting him to play towards those solo laners, try to get them in a winning position here. And for DSG, I feel like it's going to be about tacking LYON and Core JJ, try to get value out of this Pantheon early and often. You know, if this Seraphine Ashe is pushing in, you're looking to gank them. Of course, the difficulty always is they're pushing lane, but they have Hawkshot. They can track the jungler. They can know when you're on that side of the map. So even with the semi-global Pantheon, it's not always easy to get the setup for a gank.
I'd almost want to see DSG try something at level 1. Based on the performance of these teams in the last couple weeks and these drafts, I'd make Team Liquid a very heavy favorite. Because when we think about the win conditions here of DSG wanting to attack bot lane, Sejet and Lions have been the worst performing duo lane in creating their own advantages, so it's going to be really hard for them to get a lane state in which they can punish with the Pantheon.
Yeah, it is going to be really, really difficult, and I feel like LYON feels as though he's back in form. I think, you know, he had not started off this year the way that you kind of expected, but LYON these last couple of weeks has been looking a lot stronger, and when he is on, he is really on. I think for TL, you know, the question is not can you win, because everyone's going to be expecting you to win. It's more about, you know, in what way do you win? Like, are you going to be dominant? Can all of your lanes look good at the same time? Because that has been a big question where I feel like, you know, a lot of times you're having individual performances that are fantastic from the TL players, but they're rarely all working at the same time. As we're going to see Kryra coming in here for an invade, and Jose just realizes, you know what, I can't contest it. You're not going to be able to beat out the Q Smite from Pantheon, so he just immediately is going to cross to the other side. And I'm curious now to see if Kryra is going to try to defend his own Raptors, or if Jose will just go into, you know, vertical and kind of split map situation.
Yeah, I do really think that that delayed Raptor invade, especially if you catch the enemy jungler on there, is one of the fastest ways to get a jungle advantage. But I've also seen it equalize very quickly depending on how efficiently the Pantheon goes back to his own jungle. So I don't think he's going to take Raptors here, or sorry, Krugs here after the red, but it's always a little bit of a guessing game. I want to see how Jose responds to this.
Yeah, Quid also going to be using one of the new starting items here.
He is going Krugs.
Doran's bow is quite popular on Yone, and a few different champions do use it. Sometimes people are just going double adaptive, and then you're able to grab that, and it still feels pretty good. You get some attack speed there. As we are seeing Kryra just full clearing that top side, and Jose has crossed over to take the enemy Raptors. He just did his one camp on Wolves, so he is obviously a bit behind right now. And now it's going to be a base from Kryra, so we'll see if he can actually get over here in time to contest the red that Jose is now starting up.
Yeah, so I don't actually love this overall result because it's still going to be 3 camps plus this for Jose, and these 3 camps are going to be hard to re-access for the Pantheon as they respawn. So if Jose can get this red buff and then escape, he's going to be in a totally fine spot because he still has all of his, like 2/3 of his top jungle up if they can get vision of Kryra. So it was a little bit of shenanigans early, but well responded to with the guessing game from Jose.
Yep, well done by him as Calmy going to pop the ghost here, gets in range for that room prison, forcing the flash out from Quid, who is still burning from that Deathfire touch. Quid wants to stay around to be able to pick up this wave. I mean, he only has 9 CS right now. Calmy is kind of smacking him in that 1v1. Quid very low, does just utilize the Soul Unbound here to try to get as much of this wave as he can, but he is not going to be going back to base with very much gold, and now Kryra's coming over, so if he gets stopped here, Kryra might actually be able to flash and kill him.
Potentially.
I think he should go for it. Oh, he was too late. He could have just flashed the wall. They had vision from the Rise, I thought.
I thought he did, especially from the Rise or from the minions. It was a good look, and that's like a 1/10 of a second whether or not he gets back to base. Some new tech on display in the mid lane, though, so it's Doran's bow for Quid, and then also the Deathfire Touch for Calmy. So it's a higher damage, lower mobility Rise because he's lost Phase Rush. He didn't go Stormraider Surge. And the Doran's Bow is an attack damage, attack speed Omnivamp, whereas oftentimes I feel like you would normally go Doran Shield, so Quid is going to be taking more pain early on.
Yon in a lot of trouble, so Jed flashing forward, trying to find the kill. Can he hit the Mystic Shot? No, Core flashes in front to block it. Yon might have sidestepped it anyway, but good things happening from DSG in the 2v2. Not something that has happened very often so far this split. They did have, of course, that really good first Vayne game, but it's great to see them with that early advantage. And some pressure for DSG here early on. For sure, fighting back with that quirky Nami. Wave is also pushing against him, so really good for the bot lane. And Castle is hoping to pick up a few wins as Zil. Yeah, exactly. So this was actually some stats that were put up by our stats guy. They were talking about the least wins, the most wins through the first 100 games. And then they said, okay, well, what about active players who aren't actually there yet? Castle is the lowest, who is still actively playing below that 100 games, only has a couple more to play and would need to win quite a few out of his next 8 games to actually be able to not be in last place, essentially. Yeah, and we promised we aren't just picking on him. This was a whole thing on Twitter. Yep. LEC did the stats. LCS ended up doing the stats, and it was a pretty organic conversation that uncovered this. So Castle needs to go on a big win streak somehow, as there's a big fight over Raptors here. Yeah, Jose going to be trying to steal this away. Kryra jumping forward, looking for the fight onto Jose. Jose's going to get bubbled up right out of that. He is incredibly low, has to flash back. Core there to try to protect as Quid was fighting Calmy on the side and winning out in that one. But at the end of the day, it is a couple of flashes forced as Calmy had to use his, and Jose had to use his as well. This is honestly a very shocking early game. I mean, even we talked about Morgan's ability to pick tanks and equalize in these laning phases. Castle is 15 CS math up on the top lane, but it's also 15 CS in the mid lane. Their solos are getting slammed. And then the bot lane lost all 4 summoner spells and is losing, so it's actually 3 losing lanes for Team Liquid, which I can't think that has happened all year for Team Liquid. It's a wild first 5 minutes. I mean, even bot lane, you're down 13 CS. Maybe there's a couple more for Yon to farm, but no, actually all the minions are dead, so he's down 10 CS. Mid lane is down 13. Top lane is down, 12 right now. Maybe going to fluctuate back and forth as the waves do push in, but still, like you said, TL is known for their laning for the early game. That is what players praise them for more than anything else. And so it is surprising to see those losing lanes across the board. Of course, you touched on the Doran's Bow. Attack speed obviously just so valuable on Yone and pretty standard for the starting items on this patch. Yone, I think, one of the best users of this new item. But you are a lot more squishy in the early game compared to when you do have that Doran's Shield and Calmy laning well to create the most of the edges that he has been given. So something odd to point out, for some reason our feed right now doesn't show Gluttonous Greaves for both mid laners, but they both have Gluttonous Greaves completed. That is bizarre. Yeah. So, I was wondering, I was like, why is Calmy just on the tier? They both seem really poor, but they've actually both rushed Gluttonous Greaves for the sustain. Oh. Interesting. So that makes a lot of sense. I was really confused as to, I was like, have they just not based him forever? What is going on? Gluttonous Greaves, I will say, a lot of people find them quite powerful. In pro play, it's going to take you a long time to get that stacked up, though, generally. So that is where a lot of the power is actually once you get the stacks, because you only start with 4% Omnivamp, and you have to get 6 kills or assists to actually get it fully stacked. So I tend to think that they'll be a lot weaker in pro play compared to solo queue. I was thinking that as well, but I also, as Castle and Morgan go for an all-in. Morgan going to have to flash here, as there's another fight there. Kryra getting pushed back as Quid came to assist Jose. So Jose's trying to cycle those Raptors and get some control for the Dragon, but I find the Gluttonous Greaves conversation really interesting just because I think it gives a sustain option where it just didn't exist before, which can be really broken in some situations. Like Rise being able to power clear the wave while also healing. He's just never been able to do that before unless you're somehow speccing into Riftmaker, which was just never realistic. Yep. So I think it's going to find homes like that on a lot of mages, weirdly enough, that just didn't have access to the lifesteal before. Yeah, especially if it's a matchup where you're getting poked down, right? It can be pretty valuable if it's like, hey, Yone needs to whittle you down with Soul and Bound over and over and then look for an all-in. Well, now all of a sudden you can't really do that in that same way. So definitely interesting to see that new tech being utilized. Yeah, not to mention a lot of times Yone will build lifesteal and that's how he outsustains you in lane. So does Quid change his build path now that he has access to lifesteal in a different way? I'm not sure, but that's what the opportunities of these new boots give. Yeah, exactly. And you can change things up. And we'll see. I mean, you could go something like Kraken, you know, if you really want. Sometimes people would go PD if it's kind of an easier matchup. But Blade of the Rune King still obviously super effective in general, as Jose is spotted working his way down towards that bottom side, as Kryra was on a recall. And Jose now will start up the Dragon, which is also spotted. Some very good warding here by DSG, is keeping track of everything.
Yeah, might be a delayed fight here. Pantheon just coming out of base with better items than Jose would be able to ult in if DSG wants to go for a late contest.
Yeah, they're going to Realm Warp over there. Call Me trying to group up with the rest of the team, but he is too far ahead of everyone. He's going to get charmed up, knocked up. The Fate is sealed, comes through from Quid, and they are getting destroyed right now. Jose on the side, though, in trouble, and Sajed goes in. They knock him down at the spear to the back from Kryra. LYON, out of mana, needs to run. Does have his flash up and available. It's the Dragon for TL, but it is a kill for DSG.
I like the look on the fight. Just having the item advantage on the Pantheon and being able to get into a team that is trapped in Drake is a good look. So DSG, even though they were a little late to stop the Dragon, still managed to win the fight. And we'll see if they can get some tempo off this as well, as they're pushing mid and bot at the same time.
Yeah, Kryra going to be invading here, trying to take away these Raptors. They want to push in and crack the first plate, as that is very, very low, but not going to risk doing that. Might actually just lose the plate as a result, but Kryra should be able to grab this scuttle very likely and get out. Jose on his way over, does not have his smite either. And reminder, Spring Finals is going to be taking place at Mullet Arena at ASU University from June 13th to the 14th. Get your tickets now, scan the QR code on screen, and we will hopefully see you all there. As Jose starting this up, will grab the first scrub, and he is happy with that, just jumps out.
Get back to clearing. We're also all going to have mullets if we sell every single ticket.
I'm going to need to grow a little bit of hair.
Yeah,
you know?
can figure it out.
You know,
Kangas can wear a wig.
work in progress.
Yeah, we'll see.
Won't shave for a few years.
7 years. Here's the look one more time. Everyone is able to dodge the Seraphine ultimate except for Call Me, but then weirdly enough, the Yone pushes him back a little bit. No one else able to follow up well on that fight. And I think it's just hard with LYON being low on mana, with Jose not really having any items. Their team look was not going to win that fight.
No, it didn't look that good for them. I think it could have been even a lot worse, though, had Call Me Realm Warped in a little bit of a safer spot, because he was kind of pushed back out of the fight immediately. And, you know, if he was still kind of full health when Kryra arrives and they could just full send it together, they might have been able to get multiple kills or at least some additional summoners. Castle, maintaining his pressure on that top side, has been very, very good. You know, really a point of power for DSG in almost every laning phase. And he is doing fantastically well this season, getting a lot of credit. And people really kind of look towards that top lane for DSG as sometimes their sole win condition.
I mean, this is a pretty big gap, especially against Morgan. Morgan's been able to go even in almost all of his Ornn and Scion matchups, if not slightly ahead. So Castle putting a lot of a lot of pressure on him as Jose Diodo completes his first item.
Yeah, and it's not even like it's first strike gold or anything like that, because he's playing Deathfire Touch, so he has just built that advantage straight up. Castle just constantly pushing forward here, going to be able to overheat, and will push that wave all the way in. Of course, wants to look to base since he uses Equalizer. LYON and Core on this bot side have their summoners back up besides that heal, but just playing safe around the fact that Kryra could be there, looking for a play.
Yeah, just trying to check on the rune pages. If you add Deathfire Touch and Scorch together for both Rise and Rumble, they're at about 1,000 damage so far this game, which is something to track. I don't have a great anchor point for this right now, but Rumble 668 from Deathfire Touch, 365 from Scorch currently. Yeah,
it's quite a bit. I mean, you kind of try to compare it to, I mean, obviously First Strike could be dealing less damage, but giving you the gold. Yeah. You're kind of comparing it in a similar space to something like Airy or Comet, but of course Rise before always took Phase Rush. It's just not available now.
Exactly.
So it's kind of hard to compare because there are pretty significant trade-offs, right? You're dealing a lot more damage, but well, how do you put a price on being able to survive a gank, you know, from the Phase Rush? And mobility is really hard to quantify a gold value to.
Because Rise is relatively short range anyway. Yeah. And if we're thinking about how he's navigating team fights against Ashe, Seraphine, Yone, Sejuani, Ornn, we'll see if he's even able to play in team fights, even if he's a little bit more dominant in lane.
Yeah, exactly. You're much more vulnerable, you know, especially against those slow, heavy teams. But it is going to make that lane that much more oppressive as Sajed pushing in on this bot side. Gonna let the True Shot Barrage rip here as he just wants to continue pushing this wave in. Would love to be able to grab that plate. A lot of these towers have not been autoed at all. They still have so many crystals sitting on them. So one auto would give over some gold in a lot of these lanes.
Yeah, also both Gluttonous Greaves were upgraded when the mid lane quests completed to the Immortal Path, so now
We can see them.
Yep, they do 5% increased damage when you're above half health, and you get 15% increased healing, shielding, and regen when below half health. So in a sense, they're also good if you have enchanters or healing on your team to really boost those heals mid-team fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, obviously, it can be boosting, you know, your life stealing and stuff as well. And, you know, Yone W is a shield. Rise, obviously, is going to have the Seraph shield. You know, there are some different tools that should be getting boosted by that, which is quite nice as far as the survivability is concerned. Jose trying to play for some vision. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow going to miss Call Me, who pops the Ghost and is going to be able to walk out of this no problem. And now going to go back in onto Yon, put some damage down on it. But Jose comes in. It's a swing and a miss, as Call Me sidesteps it with that Ghost and stays safe.
No need for phase rush when you just Ghost and have happy feet. Before Ash Arrow missed, Seraphine missed, Sejuani Alpha missed, Team Liquid, you can't contest this anymore.
Yeah, they're still hanging around. They do have Encore as well as the Fate Sealed from Quid. Call Me is getting pretty low. That is the advantage that TL have. A lot of poke. And now they're pushing in. There's the flash forward with the Encore. It does not catch the Jet, but it does catch the other two. And Quid is raking havoc in that backline. Jose is going to be able to knock down one. Kryra barely survives. Quid retreating back here from Call Me. Yon has not been able to get involved. The True Shot Barrage barely misses out on Quid as Jose is running and Sajet is pushing forward here, trying to find some more damage. Can't finish them off. TL limp out of there. Quid had almost no health, as well as Yon got incredibly low, but they couldn't finish him off, and Kryra survives too.
Really crazy fight right there. Core JJ with a massive flash Encore to kick that one off, but then skill shots from the pre-engage to mid-fight just seemed a hair away from connecting. True Shot Barrage at the very end doesn't quite finish off Quid, but keep your eyes on Core JJ at the top of this. When they're already down most of their engage tools, he sees this angle where if he flashes down with his R prepped, he moves it to be closer. So he's kind of buffering the cast time a little bit to land that chain with the Yone ultimate. But they can't quite execute Kryra right off the bat. If Quid gets that, I feel like it's a wash for Team Liquid. They just back up, take the dragon, but they can't quite get it.
Let's play next Drake fight.
Yeah, just looking to set up for that next dragon. As Morgan, you know, was not really there for that. Does have the ultimate up and available. And it's kind of funny because Core obviously flashed to try to redirect to make sure that he was hitting Sajed with the Encore. Barely missed Sajed, but then Sajed pre-cleansed anyway because he was expecting it to hit him. So you got the same result regardless. You got the cleanse. And Sajed, you know, has been having a pretty rough time, you know, really this whole split. You know, I think in lock-in, their lane phase was not great, but there was a lot of talk about how well they were team fighting, and this is an opportunity here against a really good team for Sajed, you know, to really kind of show that he can compete against the best. You're going up against Core and Yon. You did well in the 2v2. You're up in gold over Yon, and now we have to see what they can get done with it because TL is back here to that dragon looking to fight.
And remember, Morgan said, let's fight next Drake. He probably meant the next Drake, not the repeat of this Drake, but they're looking like they're just going to be able to take this one.
Yeah, DSG very late to actually come over here. Castle TP's down, and now they're going to try to force Shirley. The response TP comes through. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow going to connect onto Kryra. The CC is there. There's the Encore as well. Call Me's in the back line. Core JJ very low. Quid goes in with the Fated Seal. They're all turning in onto Call Me, and he is knocked down, and Morgan is so tanky in the front line. Castle has got to run. He's going to have to flash the wall here if he wants to get out alive. In comes the rest of TL. Castle holds onto the flash for a little, but knows he has to use it. DSG showed up very late after the dragon was already gone, and they lose the fight regardless.
I feel like some big-time indecisiveness there for DSG, as you'd want to have the teleport come in early so you can contest the Drake. When it comes in after, you can see Team Liquid is ready because they immediately match with Morgan's teleport. And the nice thing about this is we're zoomed out in Spectator. I want to call attention to how quickly Team Liquid turn around and how wide their teamfight vision actually is, because the beginning is all about trying to get as much damage down on Pantheon as possible, but as soon as that Rizal comes in, look how quickly in unison they turn around. Morgan sends his own ultimate backwards as Quid and Jose jump on him. So very good team fight vision from all of Team Liquid to turn that one.
Yeah, I mean, the Gluttonous Greaves does give you some nice lifesteal, but I feel like Rise is getting slammed by CC, right? There is
Maybe
so
some
much
Mercury
CC.
Treads.
Merc Treads are still good, and there is so much CC on this team when you're thinking about the roots, the stuns, like every champion has some sort of CC, it feels like, that they're applying to you, so it's kind of brutal, and Call Me just got CC'd pretty much under 0.
It's a tough choice, though, because you're thinking they're all AD. Why would I build Merc Treads? I'm leaning against Yone. Maybe I should go Steel Caps, and they're still getting CC locked.
Yep.
I'm going to get Morrison Stayed from the Greaves, so I'll just buy those. Maybe, we'll see. Maybe Rise isn't as good anymore. We'll see.
Yeah, and if you don't die, you know, right at the start of the fight, you know, maybe you're going to be able to get a lot of value out of that sustain. But of course, no stacks just yet for him on his Gluttonous Greaves, whereas Quid will have grabbed a couple. He's gotten those assists, so going to be getting more out of these boots now on the side for Yone, who did elect to go for that Blade of the Rune King. Just kind of a little bit of a tempo arrow, I guess, wants to interrupt that recall. We see a lot of those from Ezreal, not so many from Ashe.
LYON breaking the meta, just firing Ashe arrows. For what it's worth, Dragon's down, they're doing Rift Herald now, he's going to have it up again soon. Gets a plate off of it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, not bad at all. And they are looking for a potential dive onto Call Me, who popped the Ghost early and runs all the way out, knowing that he has no assistance on the top side of the map. Look where Castle is. He's hitting the tower in bot lane, and he has no TP. So Call Me has the rest of his team now coming in. Lions is up here. Kryra is going to be in the area with that Grand Starfall available, but Herald will charge in. Doesn't quite have the damage as Call Me's going to flash forward. Here comes the Grand Starfall. There's the Rune Prince, and they're going to try to burst him down. The peels come through from Core and Jose, though, and Quid stays alive for now. They do get the tower on the bot side, so that is going to be first tower of the game going over to DSG because they were able to defend that turret in top lane.
Yeah, the gold lead actually opening up now, and the dive continues.
Quid is just going to get knocked down. This time, they do not have the cooldowns to peel for him. He stayed around way too long. Wanted to try to greed for that wave. DSG get the kill. They get the tower in top lane as well. So now 2 towers going the way of DSG. They're up 3,000 gold.
Really nice tempo play, and they might be trying to push their luck a little bit here. 20 minutes in with a dead Yone and an Ornn who with no TP. DSG starts Baron.
They are starting it up here.
Ornn TP just came
Ornn
up.
is coming right back. And Jose has to get some vision. He can't even see how healthy it is, but they're going to pop the call of the Forge God. Lions is low. Multi-man knockup. They're trying to walk through this, and Morgan's just going to flash into the pit. It's low, and it's secured by Kryra. LYON is not able to enter whatsoever, and LYON is out of mana now, so the Realm Warp is going to come out. They're going to be able to interrupt that on Call Me. Call Me is going to be left for the Wolves here. He will fall. Jose flashes forward, going to be looking for Castle. Castle is put incredibly low, pops the Scrap Shield. The Bubble's going to get sidestepped, and Jose knocks down another one. And now Lions is left to the Wolves here, will finally be knocked down, surely by Jose, as he's got no mana left. It's a double for Jose. DSG does get the Baron, but it's a big gold swing in the favor of TL.
Even including the gold granted from Baron, that's a negative 1,700 Baron power play as of now. Kryra really putting the hurt onto Quid, though, in the mid lane on the back end of this one. But Team Liquid end up walking away from this one much happier than before DSG started it. So one more time, they have 5 people live, but I think Morgan's teleport just came back off cooldown. Going in here, Jose doesn't actually even suicide for the steal. He's thinking about the fight this entire time, and DSG just keep getting lower and lower from the Baron. And then once the fight actually does start, there's just low mobility for DSG, and the chase from Team Liquid is so high. Nice interrupt on the Realm Warp to make sure that they can finish off Rise, and Jose just continues to pick up more and more kills.
Yeah, risky stuff for DSG. I mean, they were pretty low. They decided to commit to it. And it is going to be DSG looking to set up for this Dragon, but Jose has been having an incredible split, and he just got cursed big time as he might go down. The equalizer comes out. He's still surviving, but not for long. The production team cursed him. He was having a great game, still is, and has been having an incredible split as DSG looking to fight here. LYON comes around the corner. There is the flash encore coming through from Core. Call the Forge God, going to get flashed away from there by Castle. As in comes Kryra looking for LYON. Can't quite find him. Core survives. Quid survives. DSG have not started the Dragon yet, though. We'll see if they can get it.
Azel, they are relentless right now. Not only do they take Jose out of temporary MVP consideration by making the production team drop the graphic. They get a kill, and now they're right back on the Drake, but Team Liquid is back.
Yeah, and they have a big health advantage here. DSG, again, just trying to finish this off. Cryer has no flash, though, so it is going to be difficult to get out. He's going to get rooted up, and LYON is hitting him. Quid is going forward. Castle is back now, though, and DSG going to be looking to fight. Jose coming out here from base. Morgan, very tanky, buffers the Searing Charge back, and now Castle's in trouble on the side. Has no flash available, has no way out, as LYON is going to be able to snipe him down. It's an arrow to the back as Castle falls, and TL now going to be pushing mid.
Really exciting game for Team Liquid, who was such a big favorite here. DSG is definitely fighting back, and I have to credit LYON for that last team fight. He was spacing the Pantheon so well in what was a very dicey situation. So in a 4v5, Team Liquid is trying to contest the Drake just to make it hard. They don't want to just give the Drake and concede the Temple. They know that the game is really tight, so they're trying to get every small margin, and they end up picking one kill even after losing the Drake.
Yeah, and a lot of ornaments coming through already now. 3 ornaments there upgraded for TL. As the Enchanted Crystal Arrow going to get sidestepped there by Sajet, who is just scrapping with Quid. Quid getting incredibly low, gets bubbled up, barely survives thanks to the shield from Core JJ, as that True Shot Barrage would have killed him off. Sajet fighting well against Quid there, but on that bot side, Morgan going to be able to knock down a tower, as that should be finished off by the minions. And to get back to Jose, I mean, Jose has been having an incredible split. There was a lot of question marks when he got picked up. A lot of people were saying, why didn't they get inspired? Well, Jose is showing why. He is playing incredibly well this split, and I think he is definitely a candidate for MVP, but they're going to go for a dive again. The Encore comes in, and once again, Call Me just getting CC'd on top. Sajet is low. It's a double DB coming in from TL. A double bubble, though, answered there by Lions. Beautifully done as Quid goes with a Faded Seal. He gets a double knock-up, takes down 2. Beautiful stuff there from Quid, and now Castle gonna get stunned up, locked down, knocked down, back to the base. LYON's the one to send him there. 4 kills for none, going the way of TL.
They are gonna get a lot off of this fight, and it looked like the Brawl brothers right there, Morgan and Quid, just punishing Call Me. I didn't get a chance to see the back end of the fight, but LYON and Core absolutely walk out of that one unscathed as well.
Nicely done there. It looked like it was going to be a decent angle from DSG when they came through, but Quid with some fancy footwork, you know, had the Steel Tempest charge, gets 1 knock up of Steel Tempest, another with that Faded Seal. Let's hear the engage. Yeah, 2 fights at once here. So Kryra jumps in, and IC had to burn his E early, so now he's just trapped with Jose and LYON. So looking at the bottom side, it's like 2v3.5 with the Rumble all coming in, but Quid, Ornn just absolutely dominate there. Morgan now actually level 16 after the tough landing phase, a level up on Castle, and just a force. Yeah, that was sick from Quid. Faded Seal knocks up 1 carry.
That was insane.
The Steel Tempest knocks up the other carry back-to-back, gets the double kill. Looking clean in that team fight.
And life stealing like crazy.
Gluttonous
Greaves, Shield Bow, Bork. Whew.
Yeah, he is definitely powerful at this point. Call Me on the other side still needs, what, 4 more stacks? And we are 25 minutes into the game, so.
Yeah, 6% Omnivan from his boots. Quid at 9%, so almost maxed out.
Yeah, so this is the downside in pro play. You know, if it's a slow game or you're just not having a good game, you're not getting a lot of the value from it, you know, so it is kind of tough, you know. There's these high risk, high reward type of ruin. And in pro play, there's a lot less kills on average, so Call Me kind of low rolling on this side as Lion's going to be forced to flash. Sajet cleanses out of that Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Is going to be able to stay safe, but that costs a couple summoners there.
Yeah, won't be getting those flashes back for 5 minutes. They burn flash from Nami, cleanse from Ezreal, and because Castle is split pushing, getting a lot of golden pressure, Team Liquid decide they just need to start the Baron.
It is going to be spotted immediately. Call Me is in the area, and Castle has TP. He wants to go back to base, though, and he's realizing he doesn't have time. As the fight is already kicking off here, Kryra is going to be in trouble. There's the Encore. It's going to go wide as Kryra flashes away. Now Castle has arrived, as they're going to be looking for LYON. LYON is chasing after the jungler. TL is forcing the Baron here, but their AD carry is dead, and they might lose the fight. Can DSG get more? Realm Warp coming through. They're going to try to chase down the rest of these TL members. They will eventually get Morgan, but they're not going to get anyone else. It is just the 2 kills for the Baron. The question is now, how much can DSG take from the map?
Baron is not what it used to be. Both Barons have been traps for the team starting it. DSG had the negative 1,700 right after Baron. Team Liquid negative 200, going to be closer to 1,000 plus probably the Drake right here, and it's just a split call. So Morgan, LYON think they're fighting. Jose is probably saying, guys, finish the Baron Quid pops back, but LYON and Morgan are already committed, so DSG can just clean them up. Sure, they lose the Baron temporarily, but it's not that much gold.
And the Dragon is going to spawn when Morgan is still dead, and Morgan has no TP. So that could actually cost them the Dragon as well. We'll have to go back to live to see where we're at with this. Yeah, because Morgan is not going to be up for 12 more seconds. They're doing it on spawn. Good call there from DSG, as it is now back-to-back Dragons going their way. So the Baron definitely not worth it thus far for TL. We'll see if they can get a lot more gold with it in the next about 2 minutes, but for now it is looking like it was super not worth. Sajed though has no plans, and Jose is behind him. They are going to be looking. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow pre-Mikhails by Lions, beautifully done, but Sajed not so lucky. The CC all landing onto Sajed, and he is down incredibly low. He shifts away. He's still alive because the carries couldn't get in there and help. Quid was still pushing top, and it was just tank damage going on to Sajed.
It looked like such a sweet engage, but you're right, they didn't have the damage there. They do have Baron-empowered minions, though, and a very delayed DSG getting back to base.
That was so nice from Lions, though. The self-Mikhails, not only does he keep himself alive, but he is then able to help Sajed stay alive. You know, he's able to land the heals on him as well. As TL still in the area. Castle, though, coming out of base, very, very strong. Overheats and is cooking up Morgan, who's got to try to run for it. Pryor pushing forward, though. The rest of the TL carries are on the left side of the fight, and their tanks are just getting roasted for free on the right. Morgan going to be pushed back, has no teleport. Castle still interested in a fight. Quid going to be looking with the Steel Tempest, finds a knockup, as well as the engage on the other side coming through, as the Encore is going to be able to charm up multiple members, and Castle is left out by himself. Sajed is down, he dies the core. Castle falls as well, and now the flash in there. It's a beautiful bubble onto Quid. Kryber's trying to run, he needs to survive. DSG are crumbling. They have lost 4, and just like that, they've lost the game.
And Baron is actually still up for 30 seconds, so worth, I guess. But I gotta say, the team fighting from Quid on this Yone has been so exceptional. Team Liquid looking to push to the end.
It is a very surprising finish to this game, as DSG had been fighting well for so long, but just like that, DSG get out team fought on the steps of their base, and TL, make no mistake about it, marching down, finishing off the game here in just under 30 minutes.
Still a sub 30, even though it felt like such a competitive game. The player of the game here is kind of a tough call.
That often decides it between MVP candidates. If you have two players that are, you know, top candidates and they play towards the end of the split, when they go head to head, people are going to put a lot of weight on that. It's hard to ignore it, right? If one of them completely gaps the other, it's hard to look past and just say, no, they're still better.
I mean, especially when they only play each other once. So it's still 1/7 of the total games, and it's the direct comparison against the biggest other candidate. So I think more importantly, that just shows what Jose's been able to bring to the LCS, because his first stint in the LCS when he was with FlyQuest, when he was much younger, didn't go well. He's bounced around a little bit, but he has been performing at such a high level this year.
And it's really interesting because I remember talking to TL, talking to Spawn and you know, various people from their staff at the beginning of the year, and I was kind of asking, like, were you guys ever actually trying to get inspired? Like, why didn't you go for inspired? All this sort of stuff. And they said no, they weren't really seriously pursuing him. They wanted to go for Jose because they had watched a lot of scrims, and they had gotten to see scrims against FlyQuest that Jose had played, and they were saying that they felt Jose was the jungler, you know, in our region at least, that individually was doing by far the best against Inspired. That in a lot of scrims, he was gapping him in, you know, in those scrims, being able to get the better of him in the 1v1, which almost no one else was able to do. So they had the confidence that he had the ability to do it, that he just kind of hadn't yet showed it on stage. And he'll get an opportunity to try to do that on stage against Inspired, who has been the de facto absolutely clear #1 jungler in the league for a while now. Like, no one has been contesting him. So the fact that it's even a discussion, even a question, I think is exciting. And Jose putting his name in the ring is really cool to see.
And a first pick for Team Liquid as well, looking for an aggressive mid-jungle. Jarvan almost perma-banned against Jose, was banned in game 1, now banned again in game 2.
TLAW got some buffs. They were supposed to be compensation buffs because TLAW was one of the champions that they were saying, hey, you're going to be hurt pretty badly by losing phase rush. Right. So they did give some nice little buffs to TLAW as far as the damage is concerned. So will be interesting to see how TLAW actually performs. TLAW Vi would make a lot of sense. Pantheon was always kind of like the prime combo that you would see, but of course Pantheon was played in game #1. And excited to see how this does actually work out, because yeah, pretty significant base damage on the threaded volley, went up 5 even at rank 1, so that is pretty significant per hit. And then the bonus monster damage also got changed. That got nerfed a little bit. They didn't want a stronger jungle, but they do want the wave clear to be more powerful in lane.
And a pretty early lock-in of Xayah against the heavy dive, so just probably Xayah Rakan 2-3 here. Haven't seen it that much, especially with, I mean, I'm thinking the Ashe Seraphine, Ezreal Nami out in game 1, Karma's banned. They feel like they won't get punished that hard, and they'll have the engaging team fighting with Xayah Rakan.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they go. There are, I think, a lot of options as far as punishing Rakan. You know, you can try to go kind of more the Enchanter route. Like you said, a lot of those are out. You could go like Lulu, Yunara, and that sort of style and try to outscale them. You can also go more to the old school answers, which are things like Caitlyn plus like Lux, or even Morgana used to be the old school one, and try to really slam in the 2v2, so that would be kind of interesting. But DSG for now, throwing protection bans for the Jace, York is becoming a really common answer for that Jace up on the top side. And maybe they want to keep Morgan off another tank, something like Sion could make sense, because Sion is a pretty common answer to that Jace.
It would just be good tank frontline against the Vi and Jace, but that's why you picked the Jace last, so you get 2 protection bans for it. Team Liquid also kind of dared them, since Team Liquid is now going to be banning out AD answers to the Xayah Rakan with the Lucian ban.
Yeah, there's the Sion ban that I mentioned, and so we'll see what TL wants to target here. You know, are they worried about Caitlyn? Do they think that's not a concern? You know, maybe they know Sajed is not going to play, hasn't been playing in scrims. That's obviously information that we don't really have, but that is something that I always saw as a really powerful answer to Rakan, because when Rakan goes in with a grand entrance, you can place a trap directly below where he's going to arrive, and then you have Lux binding, you have Morgana binding, you have whatever. That can be pretty powerful for actually just punishing. And there is that Caitlyn ban, so makes a lot of sense. And now I'm kind of curious where Sajed wants to go. Does he want to go something like Kai'Sa to dive alongside the comp? But then are you worried about maybe over-committing too much into that style when there's already, you know, a Xayah to answer that? There's a counter-engage from the Rakan as well as the Annie. Smolder would be interesting. It has been getting some more attention in the most recent patch. You can help dive, obviously, with your ultimate.
I want to see Kai'Sa. I just want to see him play Kai'Sa. They already have good Kai'Sa set up with the TLAW Vi. They can go hard engage with the Kai'Sa since it's already Xayah Rakan. Nautilus is still available. LYON is still available. They'll have good CC chaining. And if we think back to lock-in, Kai'Sa was where he had most of his biggest games.
It was his best champion by far. As far as his team fighting was really, really impressive. I just do have the concern that they're overcommitting into dive, making it a little bit too obvious, and maybe the counter engage could be too powerful on the other side.
Ooh, Poppy Jungle could still be a play if Jose
Poppy would go
block
really
it.
hard, actually.
And this is something. Gragas likely top lane into the Jace, so big damage reduction buffs on the Gragas W.
It is on the W, but almost no one is going to be able to go that, you know, until your last skill. So we'll be interested, you know, unless they want to go a new build and try to go W earlier. It's usually your last skill, so you don't get as much. But an old school counter to Jace was just Comet Gragas, and you just go tanky AP, and you're just throwing barrels on cooldown. And Comet is going to be a land. Comet got changed and is a little bit more powerful as well. So it is also a great disengage pick. You have the explosive cast for disengage. You can use the Lee Sin kick also just for disengage. You don't have to kick a carry in. They're coming to you. I feel like TL's comp is super good.
It's super fun. They can bounce people around like crazy here with the Gragas Lee Sin. They'll have to navigate somewhat carefully around the Taliyah, and the Alistar is going to be able to displace them a little bit, as that's the last pick going in for DSG. But I just think this is fun. I want to see how much Morgan has put into this Gragas recently to play this matchup, because if he gets a little bit ahead of the Jace, I think he can punish, but he should still be punished early by the range from the Jace.
Yeah, something I was kind of curious when I saw this actual change for Gragas, you know, the W change, which at max rank, it's 8% more damage reduction than it was before. But again, that is what you skill last in basically every Gragas build. So I was interested, you know, would it be enough for people to be incentivized to go like, oh, I'm going to go tank Gragas and put more points in the W early for that flat damage reduction? I don't know. So I'm curious to see what kind of a build he will be going for, because at rank 1, which is what you have until like level 14 normally, it's the same. It didn't change at all.
Yeah, so Morgan has not always been on top teams. I need to preface this, because his career win rate in all champions is 42%.
He's actually always been on not top teams.
Yeah, never really been on the top team. His Gragas win rate all time is 32%. So 10% delta below his average win rate. But he's had more time. He's had more time to scale with it and practice.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Excited to find out what style of build he's going to go. I would guess he would go Comet and play, you know, an AP Gragas. And that can be cool, you know, and if it does go late into the game, obviously there is more experience in top lane than there is in normal, especially if you get Roa, plus you have the top lane quest. You can get towards those higher levels a lot faster where you do actually get the benefit of that W, even if it's not for lane. You know, if you can get towards max rank late in the game, you are still getting flat damage reduction that scales with your AP. And it is Comet, so that's kind of what I expected, and we'll see where he goes from here and what his skill order is going to be, but I'm assuming it's just going to be Q max into E. And then we won't see W until much later in the game, and probably just going to be going Roa, which is pretty standard and could help you get points in that W later on.
Yeah, looks like right now trying to check the Gragas stats from LawLytics, which APA was saying he was trying to use early on. Proto Belt Rush is pretty common on top lane Gragas. It's same play rate as Roa, but a lot higher win rate, so we'll see what he ends up going. And very few people are going tank Gragas nowadays, so it makes a lot of sense that he wants the burst to one-shot the squishies when he goes in. Yeah,
and it's just really strong in the matchup against Jace. Jace just struggles against poke that he can't really dodge. You know, Jace doesn't have sustain early. Maybe Gluttonous Greaves can kind of solve that a little bit, but I don't know that it would be enough because when you do get hit by the Q from Gragas, that slow is enough to guarantee the Comet, generally speaking, and Comet obviously increased in damage based on the distance traveled, so you know, can be more powerful if you're just getting constantly tagged by that. You just kind of get whittled down. It's a similar principle to why Malphite can be, you know, really good with Comet against Jace. But remember, TL, if they do win this game, they are going to clutch an upper bracket berth in the playoffs. So would be guaranteed to be one of those, you know, top couple teams, and starting in the upper bracket, always a really nice benefit. Yeah,
big reminder, 6 teams make playoffs, 4 teams start in the upper bracket, seeds 5 and 6 start in the lower bracket, so they do not get the double elimination that the top 4 teams do. Team Liquid, they expect to be upper bracket, but getting it with 2 weeks to play is nice security.
Yep, going to be feeling pretty good about that as LYON and Core constantly pushing in. You will be expecting Sajed and Lions to be getting familiar with the sights and sounds of their tower in this kind of a matchup, as this is going to be a tough one for sure. Morgan getting bullied here early on, though. Castle, you can see in the first couple levels, Gragas generally does need some levels to get going, and those feathers just barely short. Looks like it actually clipped his model, but didn't interrupt the recall there from Lions.
LYON will be mildly upset about that, but not too mad, because the wave is kind of even right now, so he's just trying to deny as much as possible. A cull is the early pickup for Sajed, so not an amazing buy, but you'll take it when you can go back with enough cull gold.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty common these days, especially with the home guard change at the beginning of the season. You just get back to lane so fast that a lot of people will just go back on 450 gold, especially if you've been chunked down. Take early base, come right back. Gives you a little bit more sustain, and obviously going to be a useful buy in general. Jose is on that bot side. Kryra already completing his recall up on the top side. This is just a trade of the 2 scuttles. As LYON and Core in a good spot right now. And Jose was seeing if there was an angle for something mid, but of course Calmy just playing towards the top side of the map, knowing he has vision there. And Lee Sin had to be clearing that bot side scuttle.
I feel like the double ghost is actually kind of interesting down bot lane, especially with how much one-shot potential there is on Team Liquid. There's no extra barrier or cleanse for the team fight, so Sajed wants to be able to have more 1v1 potential in chasing down people from ahead.
Kryra heading down here towards that bottom side, and no vision on him just yet. They could look for a play on Daejeon if they want to, but TL not stepping forward, so Kryra will just be going back into his jungle as the Gromp does spawn now. And we see tier on Morgan, so with the tier, I would expect that it is just that Rocket Belt plus tier. I don't think he's going to go tier Roa, so I think he's just going to go tier early for mana, and then probably into that Rocket Belt for the playmaking.
Yeah, absolutely. So his first completed item will be the Rocket Belt. Looks like he's about expected in that top lane. Bot lane also going somewhat as expected, maybe a little bit more Zyrakan favored than otherwise, but with the wave crashing, that CS is going to get a bit closer.
Yeah, and generally speaking, you know, once you get some levels in, Gragas becomes really annoying to lane against. The more levels you get, the more points in queue. Your sustain is so high with the passive, and early levels you can actually run out of mana a lot, but once you have tier or catalyst, you generally don't have mana problems anymore. And then it starts getting pretty unfun for the Jace as long as you're on point with those barrels and you're just constantly hitting him. Jace can just get whittled out.
Yeah, and you can see he's got enough sustain from his passive that he's sitting on 2 biscuits, 2 refillable stacks, and can likely wave clear. He's not playing aggressive. I mean, I don't think a jungler has been top lane this series, so they're playing their own game up here, collecting as much CS as they can.
It's an honorable duel up in the top lane. This is how top laners like it. Don't see a jungler until 30 minutes into the game when they're called to a Baron fight. As Morgan is scrapping with Castle here, but Castle is playing this aggressively, playing this well. Nice little sidestep from Morgan on that shock blast, but Castle has the CS advantage and also has already claimed a plate. Of course, once Morgan is 6, you do have to be a little bit careful as you push in. You can just get cast back into the tower. And if that is comboed with that cast also on the wave, sometimes the wave just gets one shot and all of a sudden you're stunned under the tower with the tower on you.
Interesting Drake here from Jose. Since Cryer has gone top lane for either a dive or the level 6 crab, Jose's going to end up picking up this dragon. Cryer's thinking about a look onto Morgan because Talia's there as well. They're going to try and collect this first blood.
Not necessarily an easy dive. The wave is getting cleared out, but here comes the Weaver's Wall. They're going to be looking for Morgan. Morgan, nice flash back away from Cryer, but it just doesn't matter. Call Me tanks it up at max range, buys the time for Castle and Cryer to get in there and get the kill.
Nice try by Morgan. Couldn't thin the wave quite enough. Ends up taking the Drake, and now it's really going to be about if Jose can make something happen on the other side of the map. Quid's moving.
Yeah, they are going to bring down Quid. They're going to try to pull off the same play on the other side. We'll see if anyone can get down there to punish. They are going to be going right now. Teleport coming out from Talia, and that is going to make them call it off. So they do get that out. Morgan didn't end up using the explosive cast. You know, maybe could have made something happen had he actually just used that defensively to try to create a little bit more space, but maybe decided he was just dead.
Play's not completely over, though, so Call Me is kind of trapped here. Since his jungler's on the other side of the map there trying to steal blue, he can't walk through mid lane, and instead of immediately resetting, he actually helps them push in the wave since they don't know if there's going to be a 4-man dive bottom, and is really delayed getting back to mid lane.
Yeah, now they can see Quid pushing in mid, so he's heading back there, but all those wards littered in their jungle mean he will be spotted. Of course, the payment is being taken on the other side by Cryer, who is just farming up all of those camps and steals away a couple on that side of the map. So, pretty even trade overall, but DSG did get that kill onto Morgan at the end of the day, and Castle now feeling pretty comfortable, up 500 gold, as is his jungler, as DSG going to get engaged on. LYON going forward, gets Lions down to around 30-40% HP.
DSG going to try and play through Jace, get him snowballed. If they get him really far ahead, he can land very good poke onto Xayah, Rakan, Annie. But it is very difficult to win games through top lane in modern League of Legends. I will also say that this game is a little bit more like the Team Liquid games we saw last week, where mid-bot are pretty comfortably ahead in CS, and then Morgan's on a scaling pick. Last game, DSG won all 3 of their lanes, and even though it was a sub-30-minute win for Team Liquid, it was very atypical to what we normally would have expected. So I want to see if DSG can put a little bit more pressure on here in the early game.
Yeah, Castle has just been such a good laner. He hasn't always been able to convert that lead into more, but of course that's not just on you, that is on the whole team as far as how your team fighting is going, how your shot calling is going. So there is more to it than just individual play, but Castle has been stellar as far as the individual play is concerned. I feel like he has one of the best laning phases in the league, bar none.
He really does. Already 24 CS ahead. The dive helps that a lot, and so much vertical jungling has been going on here. I think Jose, with this return to Cryra's blue side, is really going to make him pretty sad, since there's been no camps for him to take.
Yeah, Jose is doing a really good job here, as they are potentially looking for Quid. Cryra in the area, decide to call it off, but Jose maybe going to try to look for a dive here. Core will be the one to start it up. He just flashes in, charms up Lions, who is not level 6 and is going to be killed off very quickly, and now the Q connects. They don't want to go for the redive, though. LYON took a couple of tower shots, so Sajed going to be able to push them back. It is just a kill on the support at the end of the day, but Cryra sneaking in behind Quid. Maybe going to try to find an angle here.
Some cost, kind of wants to try.
Yeah, no, they're just going to call it off at the end of the day. But, you touched on it, the advantage on the top side there for DSG, and the struggle for TL, I think, has been trying to get everything working at the same time. They've often had, one really good piece or 2 really good pieces, but it just doesn't feel like everything is working at the same time. Once LYON's playing well, Quid has a bad game. Once Quid has a good game, Morgan's having a bad game. And then the top side has a good game, well, LYON's not going to have a good game. And that is kind of what you're looking for TL to really get to that next level, because we know they have incredible individual talent, but for them to become the clear best team in the league, all their players need to be playing well at the same time.
It's a great representation of what's been going wrong for Team Liquid. You could even make more sliders. Is it the macro or the early game? Is it Spawn being here? Is it Australia?
Coach gap.
But it's been looking good so far. They haven't played the top teams in the league, though. This will be their 5th win if they close it out. And then they'll still need to play Lion and C9 to close out the split.
Yeah, and that's going to really decide the top of the table These last couple weeks going to be very exciting. So many good matches. Lions was forced to use his flash, as there's a nice explosive cast. Knocked back there onto Castle, and Jose is in position with the lane gank. Nowhere for Castle to go. Great setup there for Morgan.
And that's the matchup, actually. Even if you're down 20 CS, you're Gragas, you can reach the Jace. Does it impressively, though, without burning flash. Jose doesn't have to burn flash. Jose doesn't have to burn kick. Castle actually didn't burn the flash because he was likely dead anyway, which makes the repeat gank not as easy, but still a really nice first visit for Jose top lane.
Yep, really well done there. Great gank setup. It's one of the big strengths of Gragas. As you said, didn't even have to body slam flash or anything like that. They're able to pull it off as the Spellbook TP coming in here from Lions. Nicely dodged on the engage there by Sajed. Sajed, though, going to get hit by that blade collar. Pulled back. Kryra coming in. Can't quite find the angle to look for more as Core popped the quickness and the heal, and that is going to be enough to just make them back off.
Jose looking for it.
Oh, good flash from Call Me. Saw that Jose was going to be looking for that ward hop kick. Jose did not commit his flash, but the ultimate is down and gets the flash off Call Me. So nice trade there. Jose really active on the map.
Yeah, a couple ultimates down for Team Liquid, but they're still holding the pressure since Quid has stun and Tibbers up. You can see LYON is playing with so much confidence on the Zai. They're still going to move in for this Drake despite being down 2 ultimates. We'll see if DSG wants to contest it.
Looks like they're a little bit late to try to get over here. Kryra now walking over, Sajed coming in, but they're kind of split across a few different sides, and their mid laner is basing, now going to be TPing back. We'll see if Kryra can go in. It's going to be a 50-50. Lions goes for the engage. Sajed is on the side, but Sajed cannot hit. He's going to reposition to the back of the pit. He's hitting LYON over the wall. LYON is getting incredibly low. Call Me's getting involved. Sajed flashes in and does take down LYON, and now Quid is running for it. Call Me is peppering them with damage as they try to retreat. Kryra, Call Me, Sajed looking for more, but won't be able to find it. It's just the 1-for-1 at the end of the day, as the Dragon is also claimed by TL.
And Team Liquid take those. 1 kill for 1 kill and a Drake. So they're early stacking the Drake, could have as early as a 22-minute soul. So Jose continuing to have a strong game here. 3-0-0, wins that smite. Very good communication by Team Liquid that entire time by stopping damage on the Drake, because it was at 1300 when the Vi queued over the wall, and then everything stopped, and everybody focused on the fight.
Oh, Morgan actually whiffs there as Lions shows up, and that's going to mean his flash is forced. Great sidestep from Castle on that body slam. Meant that he was able to get behind him, knock him back as Lions showed up, and they do force the flash off to Morgan.
Man, some of these players are so good, we take it for granted. Just like the instant reaction from the Alistar out of the brush to flash away, the dodge by Castle. Kind of just everyday stuff we see nowadays.
And Morgan is actually going for both Roa and Tier, so he's going for a very slow build, very slow scaling build. It's going to take a while to come online, but is quite strong. And here's that replay.
Yeah, 1,300 health on the Drake. Look at how long it just sits there for this entire fight. Sajed, Kryra flash out the back. Sajed was hoping it was one of these Kaisa fights that he can enter at the end and then start cleaning up, but Kryra wasn't really involved in the fight the entire time. Calm can only do so much damage on the Talia, and it's a 1-for-1 with Team Liquid getting the trade.
Yeah, it was a little bit awkward on the ult from Sajed as well. You know, he repositioned to the back.
Take it slow. Not bad, not bad.
Awkward for me, guys.
Yeah, he ulted to the back of the pit. You know, he didn't want to go in the pit, and over the wall he was actually hitting LYON. But then as soon as TL kind of stepped away, he had to flash into the pit to even be involved. You know, maybe could have gone for a more aggressive angle with that killer instinct. Of course, that is always very risky, but high risk, high reward. As Kryra sitting up on that top side was trying to get involved here, has moved forward into that front brush and hoping he can find a play. Feels like we've been watching Kryra spend a lot of time looking, but not a lot of time finding these plays, as there is going to be a kick into the wall there from Call Me. He is stunned up by Quid, who drops the Tibbers, and another Sonic Wave resonating strike connects, and Jose goes on a rampage, and on that top side, they're looking to try to pull off a dive. The Shock Blast not going to connect onto Morgan, and he is far enough back that DSG can't get anything.
But they might be able to get first turret here. They have the inside track, and Annie plus Lee will not be able to kill this bot turret quickly enough. So small consolation prize getting that bonus gold. In the sense that Kryra is looking a lot, Jose's finding a lot. Every gank, it seems like, works out for him. He's been an assassin with those Qs.
Yeah, he has absolutely been smurfing with it. And we touched on it, but we want to remind you that it is going to be this matchup between TL and LYON coming next week. Jose, again, having a great series for himself. You know, putting himself in the conversation potentially for Player of the Week again if he has another great game here to finish things off. And he would be going up against Inspired next week. That is a matchup that I think so many people are really, really excited for. TL and LYON, two of the very best teams in the league. Of course, LYON, you know, already that defending champion from lock-in. And this jungle matchup is something that we've been waiting for all split long.
And I really feel like, aside from just the jungle matchup, Team Liquid wants a rematch here, because if you think about the series that LYON won against Team Liquid, they pulled out all the tricks. That was the orange jungle with Vayne Flex. It was all Varus top. It's the first that we saw it. It was some crazy stuff.
Absolutely. Jose, though, maybe getting caught out. Tries to ward hop back, but he's interrupted there by Kryra with the cease and desist. Jose survives, though. Quid arrives. Tibbers going to get dropped there onto Kryra as Castle and Sajed scrapping with Core and Yon on the side. At the end of the day, it's just kind of a chunk of health on both sides, but more cooldowns spent there by TL.
It looked like Quid shorted Tibbers. I feel like he wanted to get the big AoE off of the Lee Sin kick, ended up not getting anything, so now he's going to be down Tibbers and Jose down his ult.
Yeah, I think just barely got the stun on Kryra, but no one else, you know, didn't have flash, so
barely.
Hard to commit for more. Morgan, though, in the area. Sajed a little bit nervous, and Jose has healed back up. Very easy to do on Lee Sin. You can just heal up in your jungle and stay out active on the map. It's one of the things that made Lee Sin so popular back in the day when it had been, you know, a really common pick. And Jose has brought it out a couple times this split, as he has just been so annoying on this pick. You know, he never are forced to base. He's just constantly going and looking for skirmishes.
Man, he is so comfortable on this pick. I remember back in 2020 on Team Liquid, Core JJ and Tactical would always talk about Jose Daejeon and how good he is in solo queue. This was before Jose made it to Worlds and had his kind of breakout performance on Lee Sin at the 2020 World Championship play-in. So seeing him still on this pick 6 years later on Team Liquid is always pretty cool to see.
It's also just so funny that when we were watching the Player of the Week interview, when Raz asked him what his world skin would be, we both were immediately like, yeah, it'd be Lee Sin. And then he goes, Ivern, and we're like, huh?
He's trolling.
It was kind of funny, as Morgan just going to throw down the explosive cast, clear out that wave, as DSG overloading that side of the map will be able to grab a dragon and slow that stack down. The Weaver's wall comes through, but just a split second too late. Call Me can't block that charge. That was delivered by Jose as Kryra on the side, getting a nice little chunk down on Core, and will push TL back. But LYON now finding opportunity, stepping forward here onto Call Me. Call Me gonna get rooted up. In comes the CC onto LYON, and LYON is just knocked down, couldn't react with the ultimate in time, gets burst down in a hurry. Jose tries to disengage, but there goes Sajed, and Sajed has to flash away as Quid stuns him up and almost bursts him down. Lives with a sliver of health there, as he went in with the killer instinct. Now Call Me hunting for him, but that is risky. The Sonic Wave does not connect on to Call Me. Call Me still hunting for him. Jose going to be spotted now by the minions. DSG chasing after him, but there's still more members here coming in from TL to reinforce. Sajed trying to be involved, but he has no health. Sajed trying to get back over there, can't quite do it. Kryra looking to finish him off. The seismic shove will finally do it. Jose does fall, and now Castle has arrived. Knocked back right into the queue from Kryra. Quid is going to get taken down. Great setup there on the roam from Castle.
It's a disaster for Team Liquid. DSG capitalized massively on the fight. Jose went for the home run swing and definitely struck out. It looked like that first empowered recall in the bush could have gotten him to safety, but he canceled it and went for the kill. But at the very beginning of this play, it's LYON who tries to go for the big play. Remember, no phase rush on the TLAW. It's been removed from the game. So when Call Me steps up, LYON decides to step up and retaliate, saying, I have R, I can stop it. Doesn't press it fast enough because of the flash ult from the Vi, ends up getting one shot. And then Jose, at the back end of this fight, probably can't escape. Quid stuns up Sajed, nearly kills him. Jose gets a little bit of health off the Raptors and could actually have made it out, but he thinks, Call Me's on a ward, I can kill him.
Nice, nice.
By showing.
TL still feeling pretty happy about that. That must have been the initial kill, I would think.
Yeah, it's not the end
Spawn
of the play.
not as happy as the players, that is for sure. You can see how much damage Quid had there. Almost burst down Sajed. Sajed was at full HP, plus the killer instinct shield. Almost got 100-0'd anyway there by Quid. Definitely quite bursty. But that was a scrappy fight. Went on for a very long time, and obviously decided pretty heavily by the fact that LYON couldn't get the Featherstorm off, thanks to that nice flash engage by Kryra.
And look at the scoreboard once again, 20 minutes into the game. DSG with an over 1,500 gold lead, and it's 1,900 on the Jace.
Yep, so Castle, it is time to get something done with that lead, because yeah, it's great that you're up gold, but you are the entire lead for your team. They're going to go in with Weaver's Wall. They're going to try to find Core. The rest of the team from TL is split off. Core jumps back with the Battle Dance through the rocks, gets stunned once, but not the second time. Now Castle arrives here with the teleport. They're going to look for Morgan. Morgan, great body slam to interrupt the combo from Lions. And Lions lose a lot of health there as a result. 10 members top and no one going down.
Yeah, so DSG going to try to reset here. Team Liquid need to find a big play to really take control of this game because they're slowly bleeding gold on these side lanes. And their last few aggressive plays haven't necessarily worked out for them. That Weaver's Wall ended up just completely blocking the damage from Team Liquid after Core's engage.
Pretty reminiscent to last game, honestly, where DSG had gold leads for a good bit of it. But at the end of the day, TL still showed up, won a big team fight, and ended the game before 30 minutes. So if you only looked at the recap of the game, you looked at the post-game and say, oh yeah, TL won in 30 minutes, that's what I expected. But DSG was winning a lot of that game, and this time again, DSG really are in with a shot here against one of the best teams in the league. And it's been surprising to me that the early games have been better for DSG, really both games.
I agree, and I like the setup this game a lot more than the Game 1 setup, because in Game 1, Team Liquid had the Orange scaling, they had the Yone team fighting from Quid, they had Seraphine for just insane AoE heals and shields and fights, but here I feel like it's Sajed on his comfort pick. Kai'Sa, I think Castle is really cruising on this Jace, and there's just not the same level of scaling for Team Liquid. There's a really high execution burden to get one-shots off. Now, I'd still say Team Liquid probably has a slightly higher than 50% chance of winning this game just based off the reputation and their ability to play mid-late game throughout the split, but this is a much better chance than Game 1 for DSG.
No, I agree. I mean, DSG is definitely in with a really good shot, but that being said, you misstep one time, all of a sudden you are kicked in by the Lee Sin, you're one shot by the Gragas, by the Annie, by all this burst. There's so much playmaking, so much engage on that TL side, as Lions will be sent running off of that little scrap, and now Calmy going to join the team. TL trying to reclaim some vision here as Morgan pushing forward, trying to reclaim some of that space. The Comet does connect as he gets a nice little chunk down over onto Lions. TL controlling that mid wave. Castle's going to go answer it, and now that means it's a 5v4 for TL, and they can push in.
Morgan is actually somewhat tank Gragas here. He's gone with Roa into Thimblewinter, but the Drake has been started. We'll see if TL can get in.
Quid, great sidestep from the Shock Blast on the side, and now he reveals himself. There's a flash forward from Lions. They're going to try to look for it. They're looking for LYON. This time he does respond. The season assist comes in. There's the instant charm on a Sajed as he killer instincts in the backline, trying to take down LYON. Can't quite do it. Everyone from DSG piles into the meat grinder. They get destroyed as this time LYON reacts perfectly and Core peels everyone.
Superior team fighting right there. You could see the call for DSG was kill LYON, but they couldn't layer the CC properly. LYON gets too far back. The whole team can't follow through. And then, as you mentioned, Core JJ's quickness to charm them immediately was perfect. They got Baron off this play.
Yeah, that is a backbreaker for DSG. They were in a pretty good spot. They still did not get the Dragon on either side, so maybe TL can just run out and try to contest that one more time.
We have a time. I can look Jace here.
I'm down, I'm down.
No one can look Jace right now. We're trying to retake this.
Jace has a no max.
No flash, Alice.
Can you cut me?
Buy no flash, buy no flash.
I'm okay for now.
Have ulti, buy.
Can you help me?
Yeah,
Bye. Kai'Sa as well.
Kai'Sa.
Buy first.
Kai'Sa. Baron.
Nice.
We go Baron.
Yeah, bottom.
Yeah. Go
Can
Baron.
you...
Nice clear comms from Team Liquid right there. Underrated was Morgan's front line as the Drake is still happening.
Quid flashes in and bursts down Cryro with the help of Jose. Sajed's in trouble on the side as Quid's going to be chasing him. Calmy as well, getting chased down by the duo from TL. Core and Jose team up to take down another. It's a double there for Jose as TL, we go back to live and go back to them winning another dominant team fight.
Just a mild caster curse, I think. Just a little tiny bit of a caster curse when we said that DSG has a much better chance in this game because they immediately lose a team fight, lose Baron, lose another team fight as Team Liquid has now taken a 2,500 gold deficit to a 2,500 gold lead.
Castle still up 2K, but it just does not feel like it matters whatsoever. Jose 8-1-1 on the Lee Sin. Another dominant performance on his best pick, in my opinion. And TL just pulling the trigger in these team fights, forcing the hand of DSG, who just doesn't really seem to have an answer.
It's a good Lee Sin angle, and Jose wants to play it. You just let him play Lee Sin. Doesn't matter if it's in meta. If he feels it, you let him play the pick. 3 Drakes now onto Soul Point for Team Liquid. Morgan's frontline, Gragas, looking pretty good in this case because he's arrived at the team fights. It doesn't matter how fed the Jace is if he's not able to get involved in these fights.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you were calling it out in that replay before we had to go snap back to live, but yeah, his frontlining was really, really good. You don't always have to kill people or use the cask offensively. You can just knock people out. If you can knock their carries out with your explosive cask and make them waste their time trying to hit you, well, in the other side, your team is just killing their frontline. Well, that's a very easily won fight. And Morgan navigating that last team fight quite well, but really the star of the show this one has been Jose, and I feel like it's not even close.
Not even close. 8-1-1. GA on the way. The one death was because he was trying to be 9-0. Would have had that kill on Calmy with a slightly better aimed Q.
Nice sidestep there from Calmy. Avoids the explosive cast from Morgan. Very calmly just steps forward and dodges that. Morgan now level 18, so does have the max W where it does now get you a lot more damage reduction than previous. So that is that 8% flat, which is quite significant.
Pretty good defense so far, though, from DSG. Getting a lot of free plates and actually an entire objective bounty for Castle's Jace, who's just getting bigger and bigger. Team Liquid haven't been able to crack much.
My question is just, can you actually win a team fight, right? Because they've done a lot of good individual things here. They found some good ganks. They've pushed out sides. They've gotten big advantages for Castle. But can DSG actually win a team fight? That is the real question. That's kind of been my question all game long. You know, even right from the draft, I talked about all the tools that TL have for counter engage and disengage. And if you can't one-shot LYON, I don't know if they can win the team fight. And it feels like as long as LYON responds appropriately, that's a tough ask. If
LYON just pops up into the air as DSG engages, usually Team Liquid will be able to rally around him and save him in that fight. So Team Liquid looking good.
Yep, remember, after the broadcast, head on over to the Cloud9 YouTube and Twitch channels for the Key9 Kia's Champions Arena. C9 and TL players are going to be facing off in an ARAM Mayhem show match with fun challenges along the way, and even I Will Dominate going to be getting involved there.
Yeah, subbing in for Blabber. If he does well, who knows what happens next week with C9.
Hey man, Dokla was a coach first too.
He was?
Then he subbed back in for Sniper. Maybe Dom's on his way.
Dom's plan.
This is his way in.
To coach
if he
to
just,
jungler.
first step, just have to do well in the ARAM Mayhem show match. As there's going to be Jose now looking for Castle, and Kryra's just going to complete the base. They do not think they can fight this. And if you can't take a 2v2 with your top laner who is up 2.5k, what fight can you take?
I mean, they're just not synced up enough. I know they're trying to set a trap, but if they could actually get the jump on a 2v2, they'd have a chance. But that's their gold lead just assassinated instantly by Jose.
Yeah, and Kryra's still just staying in the brush. He's canceling his base. I mean, I'm not even really sure what he would be waiting for at that point. If you're not going to fight with Castle, who would you be fighting for?
Where are my camps?
I took it.
He's got 9 kills!
Yep, and Jose will be reporting LYON at the end of this game.
He's the carry. Jose is the carry.
Almi looking on the side to try to find an angle, but until Castle's back, they can't really do anything. Lion's going to throw a combo down onto Jose, but no way you're really taking a committed fight until he is back up. And just look at the experience disadvantages, really across all the roles. Even Castle's up 2k is down 2 levels. Jose's up 2 levels.
Wow.
Mid lane is down a full level. Bot lane, LYON's almost 16. It's 14 for Sajed. Lions is down a level. You know, that is so much more stats worth of gold than is even showing on the UI.
Absolutely, and it's one of the ways that Team Liquid has continued to improve here in the Spring Split as compared to Lock-In is in their mid and late game, not only are they executing their team fights better, but they're also doing little things in between the team fights that Demonte was doing a really good job pointing out when he was casting Team Liquid a couple of weeks ago, but they just show on the right wards, or they bluff enough to keep you interested, and they find these little picks here and there, and they're looking for the end of the game here, actually.
Morgan with a deep TP, and Quid finds Sajed. Sajed is dead, and Morgan now going to be behind Castle. Castle in trouble, going to get knocked back by the explosive cast, but hit against the wall, so does not go too far. Core now looking for Kryra. Jose going to go in. He likes every fight he can find. Has Calmy looking for the seismic shove, but cannot connect it onto Morgan. TL pinging onto the Baron. 1 kill was enough. They want the objective.
It's likely going to secure them the Baron, and then they're going to have to rush over to the Cloud Drake to try and get the Soul as well. It's been a little tricky for them to actually break through the base with that top outer turret still being open, but Team Liquid is still extending the lead fairly steadily.
Yep, up about 5,500 gold and 10 seconds until that potential Soul for them. Sajed will be respawning, but where's the vision? They can't see anything in that area of the map. It is very scary Carrara trying to move down. He is 6 levels behind Morgan at this point as the jungler. That is not your support. That is your jungler. As there's the seismic shove landing on the core, but core is going to pop the quickness, look to try to turn and fight. Morgan hunting in the back line. Sajed is back. Lions is falling. He's the first to fall. They're going to be looking for Carrara now. Castle getting involved. Yon's in trouble. Yon incredibly low. Flash is back. Finishes off Carrara. In goes Sajed. Does get a kill back, but there's the flash body slam from Morgan, and that is going to be enough to finish off Sajed. Castle and Call Me have to run for it here as they are the only ones standing. They do kill Yon, but it is 3 for 1 for TL, and that has got to be Soul.
Team Liquid has super minions in mid, but no AD carry, so they're going to take this one slow, take Soul. They opened up their lead even more, and their team fighting just seems so lethal. They seem to be able to pick off one person before DSG even is able to start the fight every single time, and DSG just cannot get a clean engage onto Yon.
I mean, it's just so difficult for them. They're walking in blind, they're walking in late, and look at all the playmaking. TL have 4 champions that are great at engaging. It is very tough to be walking blind in these situations, and DSG did find a way to kill off Yon, but with the Feather Storm, with the Flash and the Ghost to kind of create some space, well, it's a one-way trip to kill off Yon.
Jose being 11-1-3 is just the funniest thing, and then Yon stealing all his camps as the one kills eye. I understand Yon's frustration, though. He's the one that everyone is trying to kill on DSG over and over again, and DSG just overcommits, and then Team Liquid ends up winning the fight. So now, Baron with still a minute left. Cloud Soul completed. Missed Gragas Hoffman up on the top side.
Carrara vault breaking in, maybe getting a little bit frustrated. Now going to be CC chained, hit by the quickness, hit by the kick as Calmy comes in with Weaver's Wall, trying to protect him. That was kind of just a pointless vault breaker. A little bit of frustration from Carrara's. Yeah, you got 100 damage down on core and you give your life for it. As he has just been starved out of this game, down about 4,000 gold to where Jose is, and I think he's getting frustrated.
I think he's a little tilted. I don't think there's many good plays left for what it's worth, but that's definitely not one of the plays to go for.
Not many good ones, but there's a lot of bad ones, and that was definitely one of them. As TL now pushing forward here. Good sidestep from Castle. As Lions tries to flash in, but the immediate Feather Storm there from Yon. He's going to be CC'd up and knocked down. Jose goes legendary with TL pushing in and looking to close this one out here. Cryer going to be respawning in 5 seconds. Quid tanks the Shock Blast, put pretty low. There are 3 members here from DSG trying to defend. Sajed goes back to the base to heal back up. Cryer is now here, but TL has the Baroned up minions. Has this one tower down, and now they're going to look for the kick. Jose flashes in, knocks back Cryer. Call Me with the stasis, but it's only going to buy a little bit of time as TL run over the fight, lose no one, wipe up DSG in the base, and they want Castle too. Castle flashed the cast, but in comes all of TL. They are hunting for these kills. Castle can get nowhere. There's nowhere for him to run, nowhere for him to hide, and now Lions is back, and TL look like they want to try to kill him off as well. They are just fishing for fantasy points at this point. They're diving the Nexus. They get the ace, they get the base, they take the series 2-0 over DSG.
A little bit of fun at the end there for Team Liquid. They move to 5-0 and set up dates with LYON and C9 to see if Team Liquid could finish a perfect spring split.